strategies and create competitive advantage. During my first interview with Chris Rondo, our CEO, he shared his vision that fitness technology was rapidly emerging across the supply chain and felt as an industry leader, we should be driving the innovation. I was immediately hooked by his passion, the culture, and the history of the brand that I wanted to be part of bringing this vision to life. Now, this all may seem mind-boggling, but it really doesn't have to be. Despite radical transformation, building out a digital ecosystem can be distilled to several fundamental concepts that have by and large remained a constant regardless of industry. So over the next 25 minutes or so, I'm going to attempt to share our story in the context of four fundamentals, which includes customer, data, plumbing, and light bulbs. That's right, I said light bulbs. It may sound a bit funny, but hopefully will make more sense as we get through the presentation. So let me start with a bit of a preamble as a backdrop. I think most would agree that we are in the midst of what many consider an unprecedented technology revolution that is rapidly sweeping through every segment of the economy, fundamentally transforming industries and redefining competitive landscapes, which many these days refer to the period that we're in as the Industrial Revolution 4.0, that you see here over on the right. Digital and data technology are now becoming a predominant force that is reshaping industry boundaries and disrupting traditional business models. Companies that learn how to effectively leverage digital and data as a competitive weapon are winning in the marketplace. And while I would consider our fitness industry as a laggard in technology innovation, we gain the benefit of leveraging proven solutions and techniques that were developed and refined by other industries that were considered early adopters. After almost 2 years of development, we began deploying the first wave of our digital implementation into the market, including a new mobile experience. We ended up kicking off the initial rollout at our 2019 franchisee conference and started with this next video by Gerd Leonhardt, which should help set the tone and hopefully resonate as being relevant.
On the time, business as usual was often good enough. No more. Where we are going, good enough is dead. In a world where everything is connected, where everything is equally excellent, where performance is reaching perfection, there's only one space left to innovate in: you. Right now, you are a central point in the raging tornado of change fueled by digitization, mobilization, augmentation, disintermediation, automation. Well, the list goes on. Science fiction is becoming science fact. Think about self-driving cars or computers that can learn and think. The way we work will never be the same. The skills we need will be dramatically different. Winning or losing are now happening faster than ever before. So what's your response? How will you discover new opportunities in one of the most transformational times in human history? Everything that used to be dumb and disconnected is now wired and intelligent. Cars, cities, ports, farms, even our bodies will be wired with sensors and will talk to each other. To imagine change squared, you've got to start engaging more with what might be, not just with what is. Immerse yourself in the immediate future. We will engage, relate, and buy things because of the experiences they provide, because of their transformative power. Disruption has become the new normal. With change, it's always gradually, then suddenly, well, things really have stopped happening gradually. This change is exponential. Are you driving change, or are you being driven by it?
This video really resonated with our franchisees and reinforced our opportunity as industry leaders to drive the innovation versus reacting to it. Our first design principle was to acknowledge and embrace the idea that while the business impact was transformational and seemed revolutionary, the underlying technology solutions and techniques were very much evolutionary. Many of the seemingly new emerging digital and data technologies, such as cloud computing, streaming content, artificial intelligence, predictive analytics, and mobile, have been evolving and leveraged by other industries over the past 25 to 30 years. The proliferation of these technologies has certainly accelerated over the past 10 or so as they have become more refined and commoditized. Here's a great example that is quite relevant to the innovation that has recently evolved across our industry. More than 30 years ago, I had the opportunity to develop software for flight simulators. and were used by the US military. More specifically, we developed the training software that provided the tracking and visual guidance across a progressive series of simulated scenarios designed to develop pilot competencies. We even developed simulated training scenarios across a network of simulators, including flight, nautical, and ground equipment. Sound familiar? Pilots were trained with fully interactive immersive experiences, including real-time video images downloaded from satellites and adaptive interactive guidance powered by AI algorithms. And now, 30 years later, I'm applying many of these same principles and techniques in developing our digital fitness solutions. With the growth of our overall health and wellness category on the rise over the past decade or so, and global health club revenue growing, our industry has been enjoying a strong expansion year over year. Planet Fitness alone has enjoyed rapid growth for several years, expanding by 200 to 250 clubs a year and an average of 1.5 million members a year. And according to several research studies, technology innovation is one of the primary growth trends. Digital fitness and connected experiences have become core strategies across the supply chain, including equipment vendors, content providers, digital coaching products, and wearables. The proliferation of health and wellness apps have exploded to more than 300,000, including over 37,000 fitness apps alone. Apple, Amazon, and Google are all investing heavily in health and wellness. In early 2019, even Tim Cook said that he believes Apple's greatest contribution to mankind will be about health. That's pretty bold. Then, in March of 2020, the storm of a century rolled in practically overnight. While it was on the radar, everyone was caught off guard by the severity and pending impact that it would have on our lives and our businesses. By mid-month, somewhat dazed and confused, we were all grounded in the interest of public safety. And all businesses deemed non-essential were shut down virtually overnight, including gyms and fitness studios. Stunned and somewhat disoriented, it seemed as though there was no longer a clear path forward for those whose business models relied on traditional brick and mortar. But for those who were prepared to quickly pivot and accelerate their digital and data strategies when the doors closed, would be more likely to adapt to the radically shifting market conditions caused by the COVID crisis. So at Planet Fitness, we were well positioned after 2 years of building out our digital and data platforms to stay connected with our members and prospects during the closure. Within 3 weeks of closing our gyms, we rolled out our United We Move campaign with daily fitness sessions on our Facebook Live channel and deployed a new catalog of long-form fitness content in our mobile app. We also began to retool our clubs to support new safety procedures in preparation for reopening, which actually started in May. And I'm delighted to report that we now have 95% of our 2,000 plus clubs reopened and back online serving our members. Our next challenge was to reinforce the idea that gyms were a safe place for fitness and that fitness was essential in staying healthy. As an industry, we collaborated with several groups to help substantiate the safety of gyms and the fact that physical activity plays an important role in not only maintaining a healthy immune system, but also reducing COVID-19 risk factors such as obesity, heart disease, lung disease, and diabetes. Among several measures that the research showed was only 23% of adults get the exercise they should. Just 20 minutes of exercise can help boost your immune system. More than 70% of adults are considered overweight or obese, with 42% of adults being considered obese. Researchers found that 77% of nearly 17,000 patients hospitalized with COVID were overweight or obese. Nearly 36% of Americans reported that they were anxious or depressed between April and June of 2020, up over 10% from 2019. And 1 in 5 Americans experience mental illness, and people with depression were over 40% higher risk of developing cardiovascular disease. We also had to address the misconception that traditional gyms could be replaced by at-home digital fitness, or that consumers would likely choose one or the other, when in fact the research suggests that traditional gyms and at-home digital fitness is highly complementary. One such study suggests that more than 70% of digital subscribers are more likely to use a traditional gym. We strongly believe that thriving, especially in today's world, will require strategies that enhance the overall fitness journey, both in club and at home. So while COVID may have temporarily knocked us off balance, it created an enormous opportunity for us to emerge from this crisis stronger than ever by accelerating our digital and data strategies to meet the radically shifting demands of the market. We were now well positioned to extend our unique experience beyond the four walls of the gym. So let's spend a few minutes talking about our digital and data platform build out that began in 2018. Leveraging a similar blueprint that I've implemented several times throughout my career. By the time COVID hit, we had all of the foundational building blocks implemented and deployed. Building out a digital data ecosystem required a shift to the cloud and a move from siloed applications to integrated microservices and APIs. Connected devices would include mobile apps, wearables, sensors, fitness equipment, and essentially anything that could be connected to a network. That is often referred to as IoT. Machine learning and artificial intelligence would become an integral part of automation and customer interaction. And there were essentially four fundamental principles that we use that served as the underpinnings of every platform build out. Number one, winning strategies always start with mastering the customer. Seizing the opportunity to have ubiquitous on-demand interaction with connected customers allows companies to expand their reach, deepen their relationship, and personalize the engagement. Number two, data has become an essential lifeblood of any digital platform and is the predominant resource that fuels all digital capabilities. So it becomes essential to get the data right to effectively execute a winning digital strategy. Data will not only be used for reporting and analytics, but will also serve as the digital intelligence that brings a customer experience to life. Number three, the digital plumbing becomes the conduit through which data and content will flow through the business ecosystem and amongst your customers. This digital plumbing essentially becomes your distribution system for the data, and all systems and devices on the network will serve as producers and/or consumers of data. Digital API-based connectors will allow for the exchange of data and content between devices and network. Here come the light bulbs. Number four, differentiation can be one of the most effective strategies for creating competitive advantage. I've had the good fortune to work with many great brands over the years, including Bank of America, Sonic, and now Planet Fitness, that are all highly differentiated within their markets. So let's drill into the execution, starting with the initial consumer and industry analysis that we did. And mind you, this was pre-COVID. And so there were a couple of themes that came out, which apply today even more so with COVID. One, technology-enabled innovations are rapidly emerging across the fitness industry and supply chain. Two, market dynamics are changing and consumer behaviors are shifting, likely causing a disruption. Three, digital fitness is highly complementary to commercial gyms. And in fact, reported gym usage typically increases among digital fitness subscribers. And number four, the strong affinity and demand for digital fitness is very strong across many of our brands, including Planet Fitness, our Planet Fitness member base. We then framed out the differentiated aspects of our Planet Fitness business model, starting with our size and scale, the high value, low price model that we offer in the market, our judgment-free zone, and the fact that we target the 80% of casual first timers. We also highlight the broad range of demographics and fitness levels, mostly, again, first time and casual users of fitness. In 2018, we began designing our integrated platform or ecosystem to meet 5 key strategic objectives: expanding reach to new prospects, improving prospect conversions, enabling us to more easily integrate with value-added partners, protecting our operational efficiencies. But perhaps one of the greatest opportunities that we have is to leverage PFX to enhance the member experience both in club and outside the 4 walls. So how do we digitally enhance member experience? Well, step 1 is that we start by thoroughly understanding our customer, not just identity, but behaviors and context and situation as well. Step two is we then translate and codify these attributes or properties into a technology spec. Step three is we perform what we call a journey mapping analysis on each of the segments to identify and assess what they're doing, thinking, and feeling. This helps us to highlight where we're doing well and where we have opportunity to enhance the member experience. And then step four is that these customer journey specifications would ultimately serve as a design specification for developing our user interface and our user experience content and data models. By the end of 2018, we had our design methods in place and began the construction of the digital ecosystem, starting with the foundational building blocks, followed by the customer-facing touch points that we call channels. Over time, we'll continue to build out this digital platform that will give us the opportunity to innovate with our members. We start, again, by codifying the member journeys and engagement models into digital algorithms and data constructs. We then layer in the data platform, which, as I mentioned earlier, is perhaps the most essential component of the ecosystem. Then the content platform, then the microservices layer. We add the microservices layer that will evolve over time. And then we build all of the core channel connectors in the form of APIs. We integrate strategic partners over time to enhance the value proposition. And then, of course, the web, which we use as a primary acquisition and member management channel. Our mobile platform, which serves as both an acquisition and retention channel and allows us to stay connected to our prospects and members both in and out of the club. And of course, the backbone of our business and member experience is our club. And despite some of the recent hype, we have no doubt that our brick and mortar format is not going away. On the contrary, by digitizing the club with connected equipment and enhanced interactive media and the integration of our mobile app, it becomes an essential part of the overall fitness journey. One of the most rapidly growing consumer categories is wearables, which will be used to predominantly track and record activity throughout the fitness journey. And we'll continue to expand this channel with new wearables over the next few years. At home has become an essential venue for fitness, especially during the closure. And last but not least, our social channels have become an important part of driving engagement across our strong branded member communities. You'll notice this digital ecosystem to be fairly generic, regardless of any consumer-facing industry. The unique capabilities and business strategies are codified and wired into each of the platform layers, channel integrations, and channel algorithms. And any prospect engagement or member experience plan can be deployed and synthesized across one or more of these channels. The blueprint also nicely illustrates the vital role of data, which sits at the core of the platform and can be consumed or distributed across any channel. Lose the data connectivity and the ecosystem shuts down, like losing the electrical power in your house or business. So circling back on our strategic objectives, we now have an integrated digital engine that enables us to harness the power of our technology and data assets to expand our reach to new prospects, streamline our conversion, and enhance the member experience. In club, which here is one of our 15 test clubs, at home, and ultimately anywhere, anytime throughout the fitness journey. I want to thank you. I hope you enjoyed this presentation and enjoy the rest of the conference.